Good afternoon and welcome to the Ada Borup School parking lot. It's graduation 2020 at the Ada Borup School parking lot this afternoon. Beautiful weather as it's outdoors related to COVID-19. Broadcast on 106.5 KRJB Ada and also with yourliveevent.com, powered by Halsted Telephone Company, R&J Broadcasting Incorporated. This is graduation 2020 at the Ada Borup School.
Good afternoon, family, friends, faculty, and most importantly, the graduating class of 2020. My name is Ellie Scharffen, and I find it almost surreal that we are standing here today. I'm sure we can all remember looking up to previous graduates and anxiously awaiting our opportunity to walk across that stage. We have all worked so hard to get to this day, and now it is finally here. It is our day. It may not be exactly what we dreamed of, but in the end, the result is still the same. About 2 months ago, on March 13th, ironically Friday the 13th, was when we found out that all state basketball tournaments would be canceled. A couple of days later, we were all informed that we would be continuing our senior year from home. As we left the school for the very last time, we had no idea it would be our last moments in a place where we had spent so much time. Over these last 2 months, I've learned that Ada Borup High School is more than just a building. It is a place where friends were made, countless games and competitions were won, assignments were completed, for the most part anyways, and teachers were a support system. We have been said to be the class that was born during 9/11 and graduating during a global pandemic. With that being said, I don't want anyone to feel sad for us. These frightful events have only made us stronger and more adaptable to quick changes. I wish today we could stand before you and you would get to see the red and blue stoles scattered across the stage, representing where we started our high school journey. These two colors together represent unity, two different classes coming together to make one. Although we didn't start school together, I'm grateful to be graduating with such a great group of people. Now to my classmates. In your lives, you will have many victories. Remember that happiness does not automatically happen. It is a mindset that comes from being positive and knowing you can accomplish whatever you set out to do. Embrace every challenge, and don't be afraid of change. Welcome change with enthusiasm and an open mind. With time, you'll be rewarded with success. Today is a day of celebration, a recognition of our achievements. High school has been an unforgettable experience that has prepared us for the next step in our lives, whatever it may hold. The last 4 years have shown to be the most memorable and influential moments so far. Individually, our experiences are different, but together we share a common bond as the class of 2020 and soon-to-be graduates of Ada Borup High. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you to the class of 2020 for allowing me the opportunity to speak on your special day. It's definitely special. I have never delivered a speech or a lesson or anything else for that matter to a parking lot full of cars in the middle of a pandemic, no less. Before we begin, I just need to check on one thing. Braden Fetting, are you here? If you are here, please honk your horn. Some of these kids were really hard to keep track of during distance learning. Okay, now we can begin. The first thing I asked myself when I started writing this speech is, what am I going to even say to them? Do I talk about how their year was cut short? Sports, dance, music, activities, FFA, FCCLA just done? Over? Not to mention all of the quality time they missed out on with their favorite teachers? No, I'm not going to talk about that. We just spent the last 2 months living it. Instead, I'm going to talk about you, the class of 2020. I'm going to talk about some of the things I learned about you over the years and some of the things I am certain you learned during your time at Ada Borup. Kind, respectful, welcoming, and easygoing. These words describe the class of 2020. 2 years ago, Norman County West students joined forces with Ada Borup students. It is fitting that these classes ended up together. In a sense, they became a sort of power couple, if you will. Jay-Z and Beyonce have nothing on these guys. They effortlessly joined together and never looked back. You are a talented bunch. You are athletic, musical, mechanical, creative, you can act, you are smart, you are driven, and most importantly, you are involved. This group of kids has made state appearances in football, volleyball, track, girls and boys basketball, trap shooting, cross country, FFA, and FCCLA. You have excelled in plays, musicals, ensembles, honor band, and honor choir. As good as or better than others of comparable nature. This is the dictionary definition of competitive. If you are a competitive person, you want to be the best. Where do I even begin with this group? I'm not just talking about competition in the world of athletics either. We are talking about academics, fine arts, and school spirit, especially when it comes to homecoming activities against the teachers. I have never seen a group of kids come together more than this group in their attempts to annihilate us in whatever game we were playing. Seriously, when you have Mason Miller and Cora Kritzberger leading the charge, how can we even compete? Oh wait, we were the physio volleyball champions 2 years ago though, so I guess we did compete. Just wish I could recall the results of our human foosball games, but they've slipped my mind. From receiving medals, trophies, and superior ratings, to taking apart cars and putting them back together and building houseboats, you have done it all and done it well. This group is good at everything. I am tired from just thinking about all the things you have accomplished over the years. Speaking of tired, I imagine some of you are tired from all of the time you spent doing everything within your power to do as little as possible. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, I don't mean this in a bad way. They spent more time trying to get out of assignments than it would have taken them to just simply complete them. Definitely an A for effort. Actually, that might explain the chronic tardiness we ran into with this group. They were probably up really late, trying to figure out a plan to avoid the work. That must have affected their sleep, which then led to them not being able to wake up in time for school. It's all starting to make sense. However, it looks like when it comes to the really important stuff, like receiving your diploma, you know how to arrive on time. They also like to talk. I am not sure who decided Braden and Jennings should be in the same class, but it wasn't a good idea. You would think when the superintendent was observing your class, they would stop talking. No. Over the years, this group has done their best to get you off topic so they do not have to deal with the day's life lessons. Silas, Jalissa, Katie, Avery, Joey, I could go on and on. I caught on to your game long ago. This goes along with the whole getting out of work problem I already talked about. And they think they are so smart when they succeed. Little do they know, visiting with them is one of the best parts of being their teacher. Now, let's talk a little bit about what I am certain you have learned during your time at ABHS. When the bus leaves, be under it. Worm shirts will work for any occasion. Balancing a checkbook, cooking, and sewing at some point in your life will be essential. Music soothes the soul, and so does dancing. Science fair, some of the best projects you or maybe your parents, have ever done. Use the knowledge you learned in health, all of it, please. The Pythagorean theorem may not come in handy, but basic math facts and problem-solving abilities will, especially if you ever have to teach your own kids during a pandemic. Right, parents? Reading and writing will be used throughout your entire life, I promise. As one of the largest classes to graduate from Ada Borup, you've definitely left your mark. You left your mark in the halls at Ada Borup, Hendrum, and Halsted, just as I'm sure you will do out in the big, wide world. How could you not, with futures as bright as yours? In this group, we have future electricians, pilots, teachers, farmers, businessmen and women, mechanics, lawyers, nurses, hygienists, paramedics, welders, pharmacists, cosmetologists, and therapists, to name a few. And we can't forget those that are going on to serve our country in the Air Force, Army, and Marines. We thank you for your service. Our communities are so very proud of all that you have accomplished and look forward to seeing what lies ahead. Although this is not the end you envisioned for your senior year, you have adapted and handled it with grace. I am confident that whatever life throws at you, that you are adequately prepared to adjust and keep moving on, because you are smart, you are creative, you are driven, you are the class of 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Over the past 12 years, the class of 2020 has endured and adapted to a changing community and society. We started our journey after the creation of Google, Wi-Fi, and Wikipedia, and entered school around the time of the 2008 recession and the election of Barack Obama. At the beginning of high school, we combined two schools and communities into one. It is only fitting that we leave school during a pandemic and closer to where we started than ever. This might seem like an odd statement, but let me explain. During these past few years, we have all changed. Some of us grew in height, some in talent, and all of us in ability. But most of us also digressed. We became more in tune with our smartphones and our social media accounts than we did with our teachers and our friends. We lost some of our manners and allowed stress and struggles to divide us instead of unite us. These past few months have shed a light on some of these things that we once took for granted. People have started talking to their family and friends via screen, face to face. We have started walking, running, and playing outside again, like we once did when we were little kids. We started reminiscing on the good old days when we were in school, even though we were always ready for it to end. So now that it is over, was it what you expected? Did you learn everything you wanted to learn, experience everything you wanted to experience, and hear and see everything you wanted to hear and see? Because 5, 10, 50 years from now, you will no longer remember all of the things you spent the last 12 years focusing on. You'll have new priorities, whether with more schooling, work, or a family. Taxes will replace tests. Being fired will replace that D- that kept you from moving on to Algebra 2, and your hindsight will be 20/20. The only thing that will matter from high school are the choices that you made. They have set you on a path that you design as you go. You cannot turn back and change what has already passed. How you leave this parking lot is how you leave all of us. So how are you going to leave as a class of 2020? How are you going to live? I hope you live like you always wanted to. Every fall, every broken bone, every class, every smile, every tear, and every goodbye should make an impact on your life. So with that closing thought, I say goodbye to my fellow classmates, goodbye to my past, and hello to my future. It might be scary, it might be unknown, but it is worth the uncertainty. Life is a risk we must all choose to take. Thank you and goodbye.
Bum 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 bum. When the night bum 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 and the land is dark bum 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 is the bum 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 bum. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Whoa, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. If the skies that we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountain should crumble to the sea, I won't cry. I won't cry. I won't cry. I won't cry. No, I won't shed a tear. Shed a tear. Just as long as you stand by me. Stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Whoa, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Whoa, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Whoa, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me.
Before I get started, I would just like to say hello to all the parents and the staff here, and that we appreciate everything you guys have done for us over the last 2 months. Now, for the most part, this is the first time I have talked to or seen any of my classmates in the last 2 months. However, I do not know if I can consider this a very grand way to greet each of you when all I see are a bunch of headlights and windshields. Sadly, it is what things have come to. So hello to Ada Borup's class of COVID-19. 2020. In the beginning of this quarantine, it started off as, oh, this is not so bad. It's just like an early summer vacation. Then it quickly morphed into, oh my goodness, I would do anything to go back to school, because online school is so much worse than real school, which obviously means it was pretty awful. Instantly, from that point on, the reason for wanting to go back to school was not because of the not wanting to do e-learning, but because of the experiences we were missing out on. Like having our last sports season, picture day for the yearbook that we got to get out of class, senior privileges we were hoping to get, prom, even though Braden was probably not too disappointed he didn't have to take me, scholarship dance, the last week of school that everyone claims is pointless, even though we actually look forward to doing nothing in class and just hanging out with our friends, and the ability to have a normal graduation. But because of the way things are ending, we did not exactly get the chance to ease into the idea that many of us will never see each other again after this ceremony. And let's be honest, hearing the ceremony over the radio waves or on YouTube and watching your classmates watch across the stage and getting out of their cars is not a goodbye that we want to do, and it's not quite we're not quite ready to close the yearbook quite yet. Which leads to an issue. We're all probably going to be those parents that live through their children because we never got the chances they did. I mean, that statement is not that far off. We didn't exactly get the senior experience most kids get. However, we still made plenty of memories over the years that many of us will never forget. I'm missing a page. Oh, there it is. Sorry about that. The idea that many of us, and now that I did not realize this, oh my goodness. Now, I really did not want to give this an average speech, which obviously it isn't since I missed a page and now I just found it. But I didn't want to make this an average speech and go on about all the amazing things we're going to do. Because let's get real, it's not true. Not every one of us is going to do amazing things that society considers amazing. And that is 100% all right. Because we are each going to do something that is right for each of us, that creates a state of happiness and not something that will just be to gain the approval of others. And before I get too deep, I have a little story. So our class quote, "We have not failed, we have just found 10,000 ways it will not work." That's a pretty inspirational quote. Well, I have a confession to make. During the time we voted for our class quote, this was the quote I actually voted for. And hands down, out of all the options, that's the only one I would have picked. But not for the reasons you would have all assumed. I voted because my interpretation changed a little bit based on a minor reading error, which read, "We have not failed. We have just found 10,000 ways not to work." I have to admit, that was not my proudest moment. But as much as we are all here to celebrate our achievements, I know many teachers out there and parents understand exactly why I selected this quote. I was not exactly that far off. I mean, why work harder when you can work smarter, right? Because as most of the teachers know, approval is not something that most of us care about. And that is not a bad thing. The ability to know what is important to you and what makes you happy is what is actually important. I think our class may be the best at that by chance, actually. We're all very unique and independent. And as fate had it, we ended up being the class that had to withstand these uncertain times. And I would not want to have do it with any other classmates. So thank you.
Good afternoon. Congratulations to our class of 2020. We all know this is not the ideal end to your senior year, especially as you look around today with our graduation ceremony. You've all been through a lot. You've had a lot of missed opportunities. You didn't get a chance at your final spring sports seasons. You didn't get a chance at your final concerts. You missed out on the final months with your classmates in school. And there hasn't been any other class that has to go through anything like this. But as a group, you have persevered. You have stayed strong. You have stayed positive. You have found a way to get through this. Like Cora mentioned in her speech, don't remember this, don't remember the last couple months, but as you move on from here, remember all the positive things that you've achieved here at Ada Borup. Remember the fun memories you had coming up. Remember the fun memories you had that you got to have during your senior year. With your positive attitudes throughout this pandemic, it shows what kind of high character class that you really are. So as you move forward, learn from what you have to go through this year. Don't take opportunities for granted. When something's presented to you, live in the moment. Be happy with it. And enjoy what you can. So as we move forward into your next aspects of life, whether that's a 4-year college, a 2-year college, whether you're going to work or whether you're going to the armed forces, continue to give everything you have. Whatever you wind up doing, don't settle. Whether you're in a 4-year or a job, be happy with it. Find something you enjoy. If you don't enjoy it, find something else. Life's too short to go through without doing something that you really do enjoy. Once you find that happiness in your career, work to climb throughout that career. Don't be content, don't settle with what you're at. Continue to climb and be the best that you absolutely can be and whatever you want to be. With all the abilities that you've shown to get through this event, I know you are set up well in the future. In the end, I'm very happy to call all of you Ada Borup graduates and wish you the very best as you move on. Thank you.
In the wise, poetic, and carefully constructed words of Taylor Swift, the player's gonna play, 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 play. And the hater's gonna hate, 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 hate. Baby, I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake it off, shake it off. Powerful stuff, isn't it? Class, as we sit here today in the school parking lot, confined to our separate vehicles, I think I can speak for us all when I say that this year was not what we expected it to be. From having our beloved spring activities cut short or taken from us altogether, to saying goodbye to our teachers and friends prematurely, we have certainly had our share of hardships. There are a lot of Taylor Swift songs about hardships, mostly breakups, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to quote one of those too, but that aside, despite isolation, distance learning, cancellations, postponements, and heartbreaks, here we are. This year has been an emotional roller coaster for sure, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't spend most of it screaming that I wanted to get off, but we made it. It's really cliche, and for that reason, I really wasn't looking forward to saying it, but it's the truth. We made it. Nobody said it was easy, but we weathered the storm and shook it off together. And we shook off more than just a player or a hater. We shook off a whole global pandemic. Class, there are a lot of things that we are not. Small, quiet, or maybe organized. But nobody can say that we are not resilient. In a few short moments, we will walk across the stage I'm standing on now, receive our diplomas, and high school will be behind us. As we go our separate ways and venture into the big wide world, don't forget the lessons you've learned, the people who got you here, and at least some of what you learned in high school. The road will have bumps along the way, but we have proven that we are stronger than those bumps. Keep standing tall, take joy in the journey, and don't be afraid to have a little bit of fun along the way. But most importantly, keep on shaking it off. Thank you.
I think I found Cora's other sheet. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Josh Carlson, and as the principal of Ada Borup High School, I am very proud to give this speech to celebrate these magnificent young men and women. I've only given 2 speeches like this before, and as I wrote this, the words of my father kept echoing in my head. Keep it short. No one came here to listen to me ramble. Keeping that in mind, I will assure you I will not ramble. As I sat at home contemplating what important wisdom to share, my thoughts drifted back to the beginning of our journey together. For some, the first impression of me was that of the new guy, changing the rules and banning things like leggings, holy jeans, and hydro flasks. Thanks to Visco/TikTok Day on homecoming week, I quickly learned what a hydro flask was. Like your parents, I simply call it a water bottle. Alas, I'm sure many of you were glad to hear that those rumors were false. I honestly don't know what Mr. Walleen would do without his holy jeans. As I moved forward in our timeline together, I couldn't help but smile at all the tremendous accomplishments you've all made. The concerts, the plays, the sporting events were all done with the highest class and respect. Some of the talented individuals here were even able to paint Mr. Cedarquist's tractor and get it running. This is a talented group. The artists, the athletes, and those solely focused on academics have achieved great success. With success, it is also important to understand it is okay to fail. Many of you have failed in some way during your time here at school. You may have bombed a test, missed a shot, or hit the wrong note. The fact that you're here today is a testament to your dedication to your studies. I hope you've been able to take some time to reflect on your experiences here, the lessons learned, and the relationships that have been built. I would encourage you all to thank those teachers that have helped make you the person you are today. Like our retiring teachers, Mr. Jeff Stone and Barb Spildy, who are the Grand Marshals for the parade today. Mr. Stone cared just as much about your mental health and behavior as he did your physical health. I've never met a man with so much passion for establishing a caring relationship with his students. Mrs. Spildy also has these caring traits. Despite distance learning and freezing wind chills, she was able to put together a wonderful senior brunch and brave the weather to ensure your cap and gown pickup came with a meal. These two, along with all of the staff here at Ada Borup, will forever be your family. As we've neared the end of our journey together, I encourage you to use the lessons learned here to influence your future decisions. I firmly believe that the struggles that you have faced will have a positive impact on your development into adulthood. Lao Tzu said, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." So take that step. Move into this world with a caring heart and always take pride in where you are from. Go Cougars. At this time, thank you. At this time, we will proceed with the presentation of diplomas. Yes, you may start your cars. Those of you who can hear me, I would ask you seniors, please pause in the middle of the stage. We would love to get a picture of your smiling faces as you turn your tassel from right to left. You want to go ahead?
You want to wave them in, Bray? You want to wave them in?
Jaden Mackenzie Anderson, with his future plans to go into cosmetology. She's unable to be with us today. Vertus Juron Barber. His future plans are to become an entrepreneur. Nice job. Thank you, sir. Augustus Gordon Black. He will be entering the workforce. Brady Thomas Borgen. Brady plans to attend North Dakota State College of Science in Wahpeton in pursuit of business. Joseph Gabriel Brainerd plans to join the United States Marine Corps Infantry Division. Big smile. There we go. Bailey Ray Romanchenko. Future plans are to go to North Dakota State College of Science, Wahpeton for occupational therapy. Maya Ann Brower plans to go to North Dakota State University in Fargo for elementary education. Chase Isaac Buckles plans to go to the University of North Dakota Grand Forks for commercial aviation. Gavin Lawrence Byron plans to go to M State in Moorhead as a diesel mechanic. Turn your tassel right to left. Austin Tanner Carlson plans to go to North Dakota State University in Fargo for precision agriculture. Thea Grace DeVos plans to go to Hamlin University in St. Paul for pre-law with an emphasis in legal studies. Mackenzie Jean Dillon Marks plans to go to the University of Minnesota Crookston for environmental sciences. Matthew James Erickson plans to go to M State Moorhead for information technology. Braden Peter Fetting plans to go to Northland Community Technical College for business. Jaden Lee Folden, who plans to enter the workforce. Cameron Michael Franks, who plans to attend Lynn's welding training for his welding certification. Benedict Garcia plans to go to M State Moorhead for dental hygiene. Brandon Daniel Green plans to go to NDSU with an emphasis in EMT. Brianna K. Green plans to go to Minnesota State University Moorhead with an emphasis in animation. Brandon John Gunderson plans to enter the workforce. He's unable to be with us today. Preston Irvin Gwynn plans to go to Mayville State University with an elementary education degree. Samuel Lewis Haverkamp plans to go to M State University in Moorhead to be an electrician. Cole Mitchell Horn plans to enter the workforce. Callie Ann Howard plans to study psychology. Cheryl K. Huckerty plans to go to M State in Moorhead for cardiovascular technology. Kira Ray Holbert, who plans to go to North Dakota State University in Fargo for music education. Jameson Lee Jackson, who's undecided. William Lawrence Jacobson plans to go to Concordia College, Moorhead for music education with a vocal emphasis. Carmen Elena Camper plans to go to Concordia College in Moorhead to study pre-law. Dante Lavorne Kesey plans to study physical therapy. Garrett Erling Genstad plans to join the United States Marine Corps with a focus on mortar transport. Cora Therese Kritzberger plans to go to Concordia University in St. Paul, study nursing. Silas Arthur Larson Reinhardt is undecided. Hunter Robert Lee plans to enter the workforce. Smile for the camera. Jennings Carson Lee plans to go to M State in Moorhead for finance.
I'm a car salesman. I'm a car salesman.
Aiden Gerard Lesmeister plans to go to M State Moorhead for graphic design. Blaze Jonathan Lesmeister plans to go to M State with an emphasis in HVAC. Amber K. Lowell plans to go to M State Moorhead for graphic design. Evany Meg Renee Manriquez plans to go to Arizona State University in Tempe for business with a culture and language emphasis. Sarah Elizabeth May plans to enter the workforce. Carlos Alberto Medina IV plans to go to the North Dakota Air National Guard for fire protection and the North Dakota State University in Fargo for engineering. Mason James Miller plans to go to North Dakota State University in Fargo for crop and weed science. Serenity Ann Mosier, who plans to go into dance education. Eliza Leanne Moy plans to go to the University of St. Thomas in St. Paul for business administration. Andre Everett Nelson plans to go to M State Moorhead for information technology. Catherine Ann Nelson plans to go Our Lady of the Lake University in San Antonio, Texas, studying theology and spiritual action. Julia Florence Nelson plans to go to Schreiner University in Kerrville, Texas, for marketing and communications. Dylan John Nord plans to go to the Army ROTC and the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks for commercial aviation. Roman Avery Okroy plans to go to Mayville State University for business. Jersey Marie Olson Plans to go to M State and Moorhead State University in Moorhead for special education. Catherine Teresa Petrick plans to go to the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks for kinesiology. Madison Deneen Poole plans to go to Northland Technical College in East Grand Forks to become a paramedic. Krista Lynn Pruneda plans to go to North Dakota State University in Fargo for nursing. Adriana Ramos plans to go to M State in Moorhead for human resources. Myla Geneva Reyes plans to go to the Salon Professional Academy in Fargo for a nail technician / hairdresser. Julissa Giselle Rodarte plans to go to M State Moorhead for business management and administration. Robert David Rush plans to go to Minnesota State University Moorhead for accounting. Jacqueline Romero plans to go to M State for medical administrative assistant. Hunter John Rudnick plans to work on a farm. Reagan Jade Sargent plans to go to the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks to study nursing. There you go. Kelsey Lynn Shanky plans to enter the workforce. Ellie Marie Scherfenberg plans to go to North Dakota State University in Fargo to study pharmacy. Carly Bernice Sipp plans to go to the University of Minnesota in Duluth, studying graphic design. Olivia Colleen Sipp plans to go to North Dakota State University in Fargo for livestock media. Meredith Jane Smart plans to go to Minnesota State University in Moorhead for social work and psychology. Devin Colin Stahlberger plans to join the United States Army, the Infantry Division. Brandon Benjamin Stena plans to go to the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks to study nursing. Bryce Richard Swenson plans to join the United States Air Force, focusing on security. Braden Nicholas Thompson plans to go to North Dakota State University in Fargo, focusing on agronomy. Sure you want to give this one? Jace Arlen Thompson plans to go to the Minnesota State University in Moorhead for secondary education.
On down. Yeah, hold on to it. We're living the same home.
Kaya Lane Thompson plans to go to M State in Moorhead to focus on dental hygiene.
There you go.
Grace Elizabeth Tomerdal plans to go to Concordia College in Moorhead for elementary education. Dallas Ray Wallace plans to enter the workforce. Cassandra Ann Wills plans to enter the workforce. At this time, I would love to present to the world the Ada Borup Class of 2020. Good luck, graduates. Enjoy the parade.